Hello and welcome to Doing Does DVD. It's time to get straight back into Marvel May and dig right into Phase 2 before we run out of days in May. So today, let's talk about Iron Man 3. I did briefly consider taking a moment between Phase 1 and 2 to talk about the TV side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in the end, as I'm running out of days in May, and the fact that you can't really compare a TV series to a film, I'm going to leave that for some other time in the future. So for now, we're just going to stick to the films. Iron Man 3 is a bit of a weird one. It's great, but not perfect. The biggest complaint that comics fans had at the time of release was about the treatment of the Mandarin character. They didn't feel like the twist did things justice, but as someone who has read very few Iron Man comics, I thought that was fine and a great twist. The thing is, the whole film kind of relies on Robert Downey Jr., and that's fine because he's great, and this is probably one of his best performances as Tony Stark. And it's great to see that character through the film learn what it is to be Tony Stark again rather than just Iron Man. But that stuff's so good that when you're away from that with other characters, it just doesn't seem to quite resonate as much. And part of the greatness of this film also stems from the fact that it's essentially the fourth in a series. You care about what happens to Tony Stark at this point after having seen Iron Man 1, 2 and Avengers. Without that detailed character history, this wouldn't be as powerful. So you're left with the question, do I judge it as itself on its own or in its place within the series? But as we've discussed, this series of videos is about ranking the entire MCU against each other within the entire series. When I was originally thinking about it, I did consider just doing one video for Phase 1 and another for Phase 2 and then maybe a third where I combined the two. But then I realised that the Marvel phases were kind of arbitrary and didn't really actually make a lot of difference on or lines within the story. So I decided I would just go through and do them all together. And as I have basically just said, within the series this is the best of the Iron Man films. So the only question left is it good enough to beat the Avengers? I'm afraid it is not. It's good and it'll probably stay pretty high up there. The gap between Avengers and Iron Man 3 is smaller than the gap between Iron Man 3 and Iron Man. One final note, part of me is a little bit cynical about the need for this film to be set at Christmas. It doesn't seem to do anything for the plot and just seems to be an attempt to get this film shown on Christmas Day evening for years and years to come. But to be honest, it is the kind of film that is perfect for that. But it does feel a bit like marketing is creeping into the storytelling. But that's only a small detraction and not enough to take it down from the number 2 spot. So how am I doing with the ranking so far? It's all seeming fairly obvious so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with Thor: The Dark World.